Shout out to everybody who worked on the album, you feel me, Shane?
These niggas about to slap each other. Nah, do it.
That's my brother, though.
I'm hungry for VMAs and Grammys. That's my main goal. You know? Fuck this underground bullshit.
Yo, hello? Hello?
Welcome to Musty Burger. Can I take your order?
If you're wondering why a portion of Newberry Street was closed this afternoon, here is your answer. Hundreds of screaming fans converged on Newberry Comics to get a glimpse of LA rapper Tyler, the Creator, and his alternative hip-hop collective, Odd Future.
You talking to them at all while you're gone, like aware that shit's going bananas?
Earl puts the ass in assassin and puts the pieces of decomposing bodies in plastic and puts them in a pan and mixes it up with scat and gobbles it like fat black bitches and catfish.
I was aware. I mean, cause the internet.
When I'm a legend, baby.
What about your lyrics?
What about them?
What are you saying in your lyrics?
Nothing. Shit to piss old white people off like you.
Do whatever the fuck they want, and I respect them for that. So, fucking, I love Odd Future.
Alright, man. Y'all already know who the fuck it is. Maybe you don't. That's far more likely. But we're not here to talk about me. We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Odd Future, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. The history of Odd Future is expansive. And I mean the amount of legendary rappers, actors, musicians, entertainers that have come out of one group. It's astounding. It's actually fucking ridiculous that this many legendary people have come out of one group in particular. I dare say that without Odd Future, we would have never heard of the likes of Earl Sweatshirt, the internet. I'm just gonna say it, man. Frank Ocean. And before you start typing, before you rush to the comments, I am not trying to take away from individual talents here at all. I still think that obviously Frank still would have reached those heights. The internet still probably would have been a group or whatever the fuck. But I don't think that these people would have been inspired to make the music that they made. And you'll see what I mean by that later on when I touch on these individuals in particular. But that is to say, this group was instrumental in connecting the talents of multifaceted individuals. They changed the landscape of hip-hop, culture, everything surrounding them. Fucking, they enveloped the youth. Like, people don't understand how far their reach and their influence actually was. Odd Future was an alternative hip-hop collective that started in LA in 2007. It was a clusterfuck of everything creative, and at the center of it all was this man, Tyler, the Creator. While on tour for his album Call Me If You Get Lost, Tyler walks on stage recounting the tale of how he had the idea for Odd Future, and how he met his soon-to-be close friends and members of Odd Future. Tyler says that the idea for Odd Future first came about when he was in his room trying to create a magazine at 15 years old.
And when I was 15, I had this idea of a magazine that I wanted to put skateboarding and art and music and photography, and I was like, okay, if I'm gonna make this magazine, I can't do it alone, so I gotta go find the good photographers in LA and the skaters and the musicians and the good writers and things like this. We became this thing called Odd Future.
Tyler talks about how he and his friends would skate down at Fairfax. This included members of the group such as Left Brain, Haji, Jasper, Casey Veggies, and is also where he originally met Taco. Left Brain had gone to the same high school as Casey Veggies and Mike G, and Tyler had originally met Left Brain at a skate park.
Where'd you go to high school?
Crenshaw.
You and Mike G went to high school together?
Yeah, Mike G was in the same class. His dad worked at the school too, yeah. Used to pull up to my crib when I used to just like make beats on like Fruity Loops. I knew Tyler actually before I met Haji, just from at the skate park and shit, and like on MySpace, cause I put a couple beats on MySpace.
Was he rapping already?
He had shit on there. Yeah, he was rapping.
Before you ever met Odd Future, you chopped and screwed one of their projects, then that's how y'all met.
Right, but I went to high school with Left Brain, went to Crenshaw High School, and you know, I messaged Tyler through MySpace, I believe, and asked if I could chop and screw it.
Meanwhile, Jasper had been a longtime friend of Tyler's, as the two had grown up across the street from each other.
Well, when I first met him, I thought he was annoying and stupid. Then we ended up realizing that we lived across the street from each other.
There was a couch in front of my apartment, and he caught me skating on it, and then he just came over, and I think he was listening to Mr. Me Too by Clips, and that's
MP3.
like one of my favorite songs ever. And I was like, you listening to Mr. Me Too? And he was like, yes, why are you yelling? And I was like, I love that song.
Other members of the group would join at various times, with Tyler either reaching out through MySpace, them meeting on Fairfax, or just skating around. Feeling like the outcast yet again, Odd Future rebelled against all of it, the mainstream, the industry, and they would write songs full of anger and rage and fucking goofy, silly bullshit. All of it as this free-form creative expression. Simply put, these niggas genuinely just didn't give a fuck, bro. But as the group was going bigger and bigger every day, things were still being put together. And at some point, one of them actually decided to leave, one of the founding members. I mentioned the other members before. It was Tyler, Haji, Left Brain, Jasper. One of the other founding members there was Casey Veggies.
Me and Tyler pretty much was starting out together like early on. Like we started making songs together, recording. He used to live like down the block, so we used to just link up, do songs together.
So the group had already been established, but once Casey left, they took it to another level. Shit really changed up. People thought that there was some issues, that there might have been some beef between Veggies and Tyler, Creator. Really, none of that was true. In another interview, Veggies would talk about his relationship with Odd Future, Tyler, and everything else, and how he was on good terms with everybody.
I want to start really here, man. You got this little narrative over your head that Our Future kicked your ass out the group, and I'm like,
when we started, yeah, we was a family, like a brotherhood. It wasn't even a group yet. It was just like homies doing music together. It came to a point where I was playing basketball and I was doing my thing, so I wasn't kicking it with Odd Future all the time. You know, I had my own, you know what I'm saying, schedule of what I was doing when I was younger. So people started feeling like it was a disconnect in between us. But when he first started blowing up with the first single, like Tyler was asking me, and even Haji Beats reached out to me. He like, you want to be down with the with Odd Future still, or how you want to do it? Like, cause keep in mind, I'm still on his two of his projects after he blew up. So it's like if I just left and it was a disconnect, we wouldn't even be doing music after he got signed. You feel what I'm saying?
It still stands though that Mr. Veggies is one of the founding members of the group, man. Shout out Big Veg, shout out Casey, man. At a certain point, this nigga was on top. He had a mixtape out with Mac Miller and Kendrick Lamar in 2011. This nigga was different, bro. Shout out Veg. Odd Future released their first mixtape called the Odd Future Tape Volume 1. This is the debut release of Odd Future. The tape consists of tracks and features by Tyler, Jasper, Pyramid Feature, Casey Veggies, Haji, Left Brain, and Matt Martians. Matt Martians would say that his friendship with Tyler started as early as 2005. He's quoted saying, "I met that nigga when I was like 14. It was on this Neptune's fan site, and Tyler had all these beats. A lot of them went on the Bastard and an Odd Future tape." Odd Future Tape Volume 1 was recorded from 2007 to 2008 and released on November 15th, 2008. The tape was really rough, like real fucking rough original shit. But honestly, even if it's really rough, you could definitely see their potential and where they were headed as a group. One critic would write, "They're the nerdy Wu-Tang with the I don't give a fuck attitude of skate punks." Low key, bro, hit it on the dot. So now that Odd Future's debut album was out, its members began to focus on their individual projects. The first member with the solo project was actually a young little Mr. Veggie. So he released Customized Greatly Volume 1 in March of 2008. Tyler's features on this tape under the name Ace the Creator. Following Veggies was Haji Beats, who dropped the Denna tape. Low key, look, come on, bruh. That's a little classic, bro. And Tyler himself would take 2 songs off the Odd Future tape Volume 1, Odd Toddlers and Slow It Down, and use them for his own tape Bastard. The album Bastard would release on December 25th, 2009. And my God, this shit changed everything for the group, bro. Fucking everything changed. For a first solo project, Tyler knew how to put himself on the map. Keep in mind, this was really pre-heavy social media days. This was pre YouTube, pre-fucking like go hard on Twitter and Instagram and everything like that. Like, kid did this shit, got spotlight and recognition for saying the wildest things. Usually you would think, oh, nobody's gonna listen to that, and that was his mentality. Nobody's gonna hear this. Nigga, everybody heard it. And it wasn't just fans who were obsessed with this new, unique sound. Music critics alike were very hype. Needle Drop, aka Mr. Finito Fantano, when he was young or whatever the fuck, gave Bastard a 7. Nobody knows what the fuck that means.
Right now I'm feeling a strong 7, a very strong 7 to a light 8 on this album. With more consistency, I'm really excited to see where Tyler, the Creator, and Odd Future are going in this Odd Future.
Along with Pitchfork in an article calling Bastard a masterpiece of shock art. In a now deleted Instagram post, Pitchfork would report that Tyler commented on the 10-year anniversary of Bastard, saying, "I had ideas, an unimmeasurable amount of energy, and wanted to piss off / get a reaction from anyone who had ears." He added, "I was 18. Although a lot of these songs were made when I was 16, 17, I'd like to say Sid and Travis opening their home to me and my ideas was my real big break. That quaint space we dubbed as the trap was drowned in magic." Travis, aka Taco, was someone Tyler actually met by coincidence. He probably would have ended up meeting him another way because he is Sid's sister, but he kind of met him just by accident while skating on Fairfax. People, when I tell you the significance of this place, Fairfax, it's a central piece in Odd Future. I'm not making that shit up. Everybody was on Fairfax in that bitch.
Yes, nigga. Nigga, you God. Oh, God, I fucked your bitch, and I ain't talking about a table, nigga.
Interestingly enough, it seems like a lot of Odd Future members would either meet through Tyler trying to connect with people through music, Sid, or on this Fairfax place. A majority on Fairfax, by the way. But Sid is an integral piece of Odd Future.
Just like start really like Odd Future heavy. My dad was like, really, like they talk about like some crazy shit and you're, as a female, like you're slapping a lot of other females in the face. I'm like, that's what I do. I slap Dad.
And the reason I say that, the reason I think that Sid holds so much significance is because she is the first person in the group to connect with the fucking legend himself, Frank Ocean. In an interview in April of 2011, Frank would talk about how he met Sid before anyone else in Odd Future. "I met Sid first. I knew a lot of alumni from Hamilton High School, which is where Sid graduated from, and I met her through mutual friends." Nigga, who the fuck is her mutual friends? Nigga, where are my mutual friends with Frank? So in a way, Sid's home studio became like a hub for the people of Odd Future, man. Like, this place was just a hangout spot for them, but it was also like a place where they could congregate and just bounce creative ideas off of one another. Sid's studio is also apparently the place where Tyler would first be introduced to Earl Sweatshirt in person, which I kind of find fascinating. Apparently, Tyler and Earl had already communicated on MySpace because Earl was going by the name Sly Tendencies at the time.
We both been around music since we were little kids. I just never got into it like he did. He taught himself how to play piano and shit. They just used to have me sweeping up around the studio and shit. But like, one day I was sweeping up. This nigga made a hot ass beat right here because that shit was.
According to Sid, Earl had been a member of Odd Future as a skater, but nobody knew he could rap. The only one who knew he could rap was Tyler. Sid would state in an interview, Tyler was the only one who knew he could rap, but he was nervous to show anyone. The first time he recorded, he closed the studio door and made us wait outside, which is fucking hilarious, bro. And I'll see if I can find any of that like old music that Earl has. It's probably fucking gone off the internet.
Juice box, tank top, 2 socks, do stop, forehead shiny like a new block. 2 shots fired at the excursion we were swerving in. All purpose verses with a passion for serving kids. Empty out your purses on an immature crime spree.
But yeah, Tyler would talk about meeting this little ugly nigga Tebe on stage.
This fucking ugly ass kid, man. Find out this little nigga could rap. We bring him to the studio. What's your fucking rap name? And this nigga's like Earl Sweatshirt. We're like, oh.
Who randomly turned out to be one of the most popular members in the group and my personal favorite because of the connection that I had with Buddy's music while I was growing up. I say all this to drive home the point how many fateful occurrences happened in the lead up to not only the creation of Bastard, but the foundation of Odd Future itself. Little did the group know how much buzz that this tape would create around them. When the music video for French dropped, it genuinely fucking blew up. One of the people it reached was Frank Ocean.
When it comes to the perfection of my shit, I know you smell the rectum. I'm like a chromosome, I always exo.
In an interview with Spin, Tyler would talk about the first time he had heard from Frank. The article would state, a reporter from Spin magazine who interviewed Frank Ocean and Tyler the Creator would say, in early 2010, after a mutual friend showed Ocean the video for Tyler's French, a street horror clip depicting teens going wild, Ocean called Tyler to compliment him, and they soon hit it off. Later, they were calling each other's phone, talking about chords and people not taking us serious, said Tyler, who was still poor and at the time sleeping on the floor of his grandmother's house. Ocean took Tyler under his wing and the two would spend time together supporting one another and bouncing ideas off each other. This is around the time when Frank would join Odd Future officially, so like 09, 2010-ish. At this point, Odd Future as a concept had been solidified, right? The group was generating a lot of buzz, and like I said, that French music video really changed things for the group as a whole. But Frank Ocean wasn't the only one attracted by intrepid lyrics, horror flick visuals, and grimy, distorted vocals. The other person who changed Tyler's life, and honestly the people had a crazy impact on the people around him, was Christian Clancy. You might be wondering, who the fuck is Christian Clancy? This isn't a Christian Clancy fucking video, but I'm gonna go off on a little detour here, a little tangent here, if you will. This is the fucking guy though. This is the guy.
Fuck it, I got Clancy. He gave me the chance to see a world I wasn't supposed to. I'm stoked that I didn't know.
This is the guy. Christian Clancy is Tyler the Creator's long-time manager.
My partner always says this, the more you pull back the string, you were to see all these kind of variables. These kids do everything themselves. They write, produce, direct, illustrate, artwork, create, whatever it is wholly done by them. And, you know, coming from nothing like that, it was incredibly inspiring. There was no talk of singles. It was the exact opposite of where my head had been. So for me, it was like, fuck.
In an interview with BuzzFeed about the couple behind Odd Future, Clancy would say, a friend sent me French and I was in the middle of M's record, stressed out, and I watched it and was like, this is fucking interesting, Christian says. Then you go back to work and you look at it again and you start digging around some more because they had all this stuff online and you figure, I want to meet these guys. And he'd do just that. In 2010, a former Interscope colleague, David R. Roddy, introduced a young, charismatic, and carefree rapper, Tyler, who would change the course of their careers. After this, Christian and Roddy started managing Tyler's The Collective, Odd Future, with the help of Christian's wife, Kelly.
Tyler and Left Brain, and now Sid and Haji, who we're starting to produce, are some of the most creative. These guys listen to everything from James Pants to, you know, the most random, you know, crazy jazz, and to Justin Bieber. So when they create, they're writing from the standpoint of just natural. There's no thought to like who's gonna like this or what this song's gonna be or is this gonna be a single. There's none of that. It's just create. When you watch them create, you sit there and go, wow, that was really amazing.
In an interview with Hot 97, Tyler would talk about the love he has for Clancy and how meeting him changed his life and the people around him.
I'm forever in debt to that man. Like forever. Like I would take a bullet for him. He changed.
You're talking about Clancy.
Clancy. He changed my life with Spiderweb, to my family, to my friends, to people that like, it's deep. I love that man to death.
Everybody needs a Clancy in their corner, bro. I might need a Clancy. who wants to be my manager and take me out of this place? Somebody. Christian and Kelly originally were working in the early 2000s alongside Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, you know what I mean? So their reputation in the music industry was already kind of solidified. But in 2010, they started up their management company, Four Strikes, and they would manage Tyler and Odd Future as a collective. Christian and Kelly were also an essential part of keeping this rowdy group of, bro, let's just be honest, Odd Future, early days, these niggas didn't give a fuck.
So like, yo, upside down crosses, those are still good. But the swastikas, I don't really see it like that.
I drew one yesterday. You weren't there. That's why you didn't see it.
Shit on new clothes. That's because you're not with us every day. You think you know us actually.
Nah, I actually don't. We're trying to figure you guys out right now.
See, why figure us out? I don't like people figuring us out.
That's why I'm just not trying to rape us. I ain't down with that shit.
These niggas genuinely, like, you couldn't pay them to care about anything, bro. They genuinely didn't care.
Is there room for more members?
No. Except for R. Kelly.
R. Kelly.
Yes, there is. Swag. R. Kelly.
But their job and their goal at that time was to keep this group like restrained, just contained, not even restrained, just contained, like keep them all under wraps in line so that they wouldn't, destroy themselves and maybe destroy Odd Future. In their interview with BuzzFeed, Kelly would say, "We are as involved in these kids' personal lives as we are on the work side of things." Kelly said, "When we met them, they were all 18 to 19. Taco was 16. Sheesh, boy was young as hell. We've seen them grow up in a lot of ways, just as people, whether it's helping them rent their first apartment or buy their first home. I love it. I feel like how incredible that they want us to be a part of something like that. So it's very different. The lines between business and personal are extremely blurred." Is that a good thing? I feel like that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good... you know what? That's probably good. The Clancys would help the entirety of OF in more ways than one, and one can say that without their marketing and advertisement, the group may not have reached the heights that it was meant to. Clancy has been shouted out in numerous Tyler songs on Pothole.
His name is Clancy, I fancy him, gotta give him props. He half the reason why dealerships even let me cop.
And he's also mentioned on Damo 23 and Oldie, and who fucking knows what else, bro. Sometimes you just need a Clancy shout out. Middle of the song, fuck it. Middle of the song, fuck it. Yo, Clancy. The second official Odd Future mixtape was Radical, and it was the first to feature the likes of Earl, Damo, Mike G, Taco, all on one fucking tape, boy. Sid isn't featured vocally, but she did contribute to Swag Me Out in the recording and mastering of the vocals. Honestly though, this tape had bangers, bro. This tape had bangers on it. It isn't a fully cohesive project, but it was definitely a step up in the group finding a more substantial identity within all of that chaotic energy they had on their previous OF tape volume 1. Though the internet itself as a group wasn't fully formed at the time, we still got subgroups like Mellow Hype, which was Haji Beats and the producer Left Brain, Left Brizzle, and we got groups like Earl Wolf, which is just Tyler and Earl.
I'm trying to smoke some weed.
Damo Genesis would also make his first appearance on an Odd Future tape here, and this would be the same year that he would drop Rolling Papers.
So how is it working with the other members of Odd Future, Wolfgang, KTA?
Well, Damo, he be
now
chilling.
That's the fat one, right, yo?
Yeah, man. Every time I see the nigga got a burger. I like nigga.
Word.
Nigga.
This tape would feature a majority of Odd Future, including Mike G, Tyler, and Haji, who would also feature on the song Steamroller alongside Frank Ocean. Rolling Papers would also include production from other Odd Future members, Left Brain and Sid, with Tyler producing quite a few songs on the album as well. A few other members also released their projects in the same year, one of them being Earl, who dropped the self-titled tape that Tyler called Better Than Illmatic. Okay. Also, Mike G dropped Ali, which had that song Timeless on it, which that went triple platinum for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit was fire. Prime Mike G.
We got Mike G in here. Mike, tell me what we do on Mondays.
Mondays, we got the donuts on deck.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the bitches.
And Mellow Hype would release 2 classics, Yellow White, and later on that year, Black and White. Shit was bangs. I don't give a fuck, bro. Both of those tapes went for me. I don't care. The only other subgroup, this group had so many subgroups, bro. The only other subgroup to drop as consistently at the time was Jet Age of Tomorrow, which consisted of Matt Martians and Pyramid Vitra. Pyramid Vitra was also like one of the founding members of Odd Future way back in the way backs, nigga. It's really not way back because we're talking about fucking like 2010, 2011-ish. And Odd Future started like like 2008, 09, whatever the fuck, but you know what I mean. They dropped 2 tapes, Voyager in April, and then they would follow it up with Journey to the 5th Echelon in December of that year. This is also around the time where other members would join the group, and by other members, I mean like our public knowledge of them joining the group. Because keep in mind, like I said, man, all of these niggas had been homies on Fairfax. Like, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but all I can tell is through my research, all of them had been interconnected by this point. Like, they had either met, been hanging out with, skating with, taking photos with, whatever the fuck. But this is like the first time we're actually seeing these guys congregate together, like more of like a public platform. So we got Sage, we got fucking Sagan Lockhart, Lionel, and these are all the guys like sprouting up around this time. Lego, fucking Lucas Versetti, Nakil, Patrick Page, Christopher Smith. Either way, y'all get it. I'm not gonna name every single like affiliate, adjacent, parallel, second cousin of Odd Future, bro. It's just not. There's hella heads in there. There's so many niggas in that group, bro. So many. Most of these dudes went on to be legends in their own right. Look at where Lionel is right now. Look at where the internet is right now. I'm gonna get into this shit, obviously. Like, this is gonna be 2 parts, but like, think about where these niggas started, how they all are interconnected, and where they're all at right now. This is the only group with this many successful members. I will stand on that. Either way, Odd Future was on a fucking run at this point. A fucking run. The group wasn't the only thing getting bigger. Kids everywhere. Like, keep in mind, they're still underground at this point. They have not peaked like we saw Odd Future peak. They haven't even peaked yet. They haven't even peaked yet. Nigga ain't even dropped Goblin yet. They haven't peaked yet. And they're already like this big. And when I tell you they were big at this point, bro. Their peak is ridiculous, but they were already big at this point. And of course, right as things are going up, tragedy would strike. Earl would release the mixtape Earl. A song on the album called Earl would also have a music video called Earl. There's a lot of Earl. It's Earl. There's Earl. It's Earl. My fault, nigga. I almost short-circuited. But yeah, in July of 2010, after dropping that music video, Earl, this nigga would disappear off the face of the fucking earth. You couldn't find him for a year. He was gone. He was gone. Random. Right on the rise. Right on the peak of right when Odd Future was about to hit that. This nigga would vanish. So yeah, right around this time, he would just completely disappear off the face of the earth. And Odd Future would tweet out like free Earl, but not mention anything about like the details or specifics behind it. So nobody knew what the fuck was happening. Niggas dead thought he was locked up. According to the New Yorker, last summer in 2010, a message appeared on the group's Tumblr page. Free Earl. In July, when the group announced its first proper hometown concert at the Key Club in West Hollywood, the official flyer had Earl's name crossed out and a terse explanation. Will not be there due to mom. Earl was still absent in October when the group played a show in London at the invitation of the British independent label XL. And later that month in New York, Tyler sent out a Twitter message, "Damn, Earl ain't here. Let's swag it out for that ugly ass nigga." That is until Complex did some digging and decided to release an article titled "We Found Earl Sweatshirt" in April of 2011. Apparently in March of 2011, Haji and Damo decided to release a song called Tangolf, where they said, "Ask Sid where we at, she'll tell you where we're going to free Earl from the fucking Samoans." So according to the New Yorker, on a hunch, they combed through Earl's Facebook searching for keywords, i.e. Samoa, and finally found a familiar face, they said, along the page of a reform school. And, you know, bingo, there you go. You see Earl, and he's at a school for troubled boys. Tyler, Sid, and Mike G would take to Twitter being annoyed with the invasion of privacy. Mike G would actually go on to cite that like a confirmation tweet saying, "Oh shit, that is really Earl." And one source would incorrectly claim that Earl was sent away because of the concoction that they made in the Earl music video where they're mixing like codeine and weed and pills and all this other shit into, you know, a little protein smoothie, a little brunch breakfast smoothie. You know, can't blame the kid. But Earl would always keep the same story and say that his being sent away had nothing to do with any of that shit.
So did your parents attempt to pull you away from this shit failed?
No, That's not it at all.
What was the point of it
This
then?
is totally motherfuckers think like my mom heard a song and was like,
yes,
no.
That is definitely what we think.
Nah,
Nah. Yes.
I'm not fucking with this song.
So straighten it out. Yes, because that is the perception.
I was fucking up.
You were doing other things.
Yeah, I was fucking up. Like outside of it, like music aside from everything, I was fucking up.
In an interview with The Fader, Earl would say that while kept away, he did everything he could to keep up with his friends' thriving careers. It was some conniving shit, he says. I read Hacking for Dummies, this fucking guy, bro, and set up a keylogger to get the administrative password. Who the fuck is Earl, bro? Who this nigga feeling like? To get the administrative password to get onto the internet. I'd log onto the Odd Future Tumblr and leave shit in the drafts, and then Tyler would write me back. Kid is actually hacking. This is so funny. Bro thinks he's an anonymous. The emails that Complex would intercept from the military academy student Tyler Craven would also detail how much Earl hated the school and wanted to escape. But later on, Earl would have an interview with a reporter from the New Yorker named Talifa Saneh, where he would talk about his experience at the school and whether or not he actually wanted to go there and just his feelings behind the entire Free Earl movement and everything like that. When asked about the Free Earl situation, this was Earl's opinion on it. Free Earl chants get louder, but now the Free Earl chants become a barely indirect fuck Earl's mom, and in the blink of an eye, my worry changes from will there still be hype when I get back to oh shit, I just inspired a widespread movement of people who are dedicated to the downfall of my mom. Bro, Earl is so funny, man. But deadass, like sometimes I think the parasocial thing, it really becomes an impediment on the lives of these actors or these musicians or rappers, you know. Whoever like kids choose to idolize, they automatically think that they are welcome to be intrusive in their lives, and it's just odd. He finished by saying, I've still got work to do and don't need the additional stress of fearing for my family's physical well-being. So by the time most listeners had heard the song Earl, the movement was like fucking full speed ahead. Shirts were being made, the missing Earl shirt or whatever the fuck. It was just like it had a life of its own by that point. This also leads us into the beef between Earl Sweatshirt's mom and Tyler the Creator. In an interview of April of 2013, Tyler would talk to Elliot Wilson about his time during that whole Free Earl movement and how Earl's mom views Tyler as a bad influence on her son.
Formspring is something if like, you know, look at the mom who thinks I'm evil, hold that grudge against me. Like, are you talking to Earl's mom?
I'm for sure 136% talking about Earl's mother.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, she thinks I'm a bad influence on her kid, but like he's doing pretty good right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not the type to just take credit or anything, but like she does not like me for some reason. And I've tried plenty of times to literally just have a normal conversation with her and say, why don't you like me? What did Tyler do wrong? And she just holds
how
this
do I
grudge
rectify it?
against me,
Whatever it is.
and I totally do not understand it.
Earl would briefly mention the Complex situation when he would rap on the song Chump.
Craving and these complex fuck niggas that track me down.
During the period that Earl was gone, Tyler and the rest of OF were going up, bro. Like shit was moving for the rest of OF. During this period, Tyler would sign a 1-year deal to XL, and Frank Ocean would drop his debut mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra. Also, Tyler would then go on to drop the fucking tape that I Said Bastard changed everything. This next tape solidified that not only Tyler but Odd Future was the next staple in hip hop. It set the pace for where the culture was headed, and if you weren't on board, get the fuck out the way. Before we get into that, we need to talk about Nostalgia Ultra. After joining Odd Future a year prior, Frank would credit the group with giving him the inspiration to release his debut mixtape.
I was real calm and shit, but I'll fuck you up right now. What did you just say to me? What the fuck you gotta say to me, man?
He thinks he's Moesha when he's home alone.
You think you the brat when you not at home.
You ate out JD.
Oh. You ate out Missy, no challenge.
You fucked all the members from Jagged Edge before the Where the Party At single.
You fucked 98 Degrees while Britney Spears watched, no challenge.
You let finger you.
You let Jimmy Fallon do you.
You let Tavis Smiley suck your gooch.
You let Tyler Perry cash you in his next movie.
You braided AJ from 106 in Park's hair.
You faded Lil Zane's.
In a 2011 interview with BBC, Frank would talk about how Odd Future impacted his way of thinking, his career, and how he moved as an artist.
Has Odd Future impacted my career? Absolutely. Absolutely. They've liberated my thinking in some ways, creatively, and in a sense of knowing that you can do a lot of it by yourself, you know, not just the songs, but just taking control of your whole movement.
On the day of Nostalgia Ultra's release, Tyler would tweet out a link to the mixtape and it quickly went viral. That same day, Ocean tweeted, "Fuck Def Jam and any company that goes the length of signing a kid with dreams and talent with no intention of following through." Frank ended up releasing Nostalgia Ultra through Odd Future's website for free, just as a fuck you to Def Jam, because they weren't helping him with any recording expenses and they basically shelved Buddy's career. Like, they weren't helping him move his career along at all. With Frank being the first solo act out of Odd Future to gain a more mainstream success, people were very curious what the leader of Odd Future had in store. And bro, that fucking album Goblin that Tyler dropped changed Buddy's career and Odd Future entirely. And honestly, man, this shit scratched the fucking itch. I remember when this album dropped. I remember when Goblin dropped. I was there. I was one of them ones. Tyler would drop the album May 10th, 2011, with the album releasing at number 5 on the Billboard Top 100. For promotion for this album, Tyler and Haji would perform the song Sandwiches live on Jimmy Fallon. Bro, this would be so insane to see performed today. Absolutely nuts. They were wilding back then. They were wilding. Tyler jumped on this nigga's back, bro. Roll the footage. Tyler jumped on this man's back and was riding this nigga around like a pony, bro. Yonkers, the song that got him the Best New Artist Award at the 2011 VMAs and is currently sitting at 152 million views. That shit utterly disturbed me as a kid, bro. I remember having full-blown arguments with people over whether or not the cockroach was real. Anyway, Goblin performed beyond anyone's expectations. Songs like She and Tron Cat showed the duality that Tyler was capable of as an artist, and although some people had a problem with the lyrics, there wasn't a serious amount of blowback at the time, especially if we're talking about post-cancel culture world we live in today. They would have gotten these niggas out of here in 2012, brother. And Tyler himself said as much in an interview with Hot 97.
Would Odd Future have made it in 2021? You guys talked so fuck crazy.
No.
You guys would never made it out the game.
No. We came at the right time where
The last moment.
Yeah.
You could still be crazy. You could still be a kid and fuck up. You could still have satire. You could still allow people to have a conversation, even if you disagreed.
After the release of Goblin, Tyler would go on to sign a joint deal with Red Distribution and Sony Music as a solo artist. Behind the scenes of the whole Goblin release, Odd Future had actually started to work on a sketch comedy show. Think y'all know what I'm talking about already. And it was brought to them by the production company Dick House that created Jackass.
Ah, it burns. Oh. Is this jalapeno cheese?
Monkey idiots.
Loiter Squad.
In an interview with XXL, Jasper would explain how Dick House approached them about the show. They came to one of our shows, a guy named Nick that works for Adult Swim. And then from there, we had a meeting talking about it. And then from there, it just kind of kept going up. And the next thing you know, we were on TV. I don't know why I did that voice. So going back to 2010, Nick Weidenfeld and Tyler, the Creator, had already inked a deal to create the show Loiter Squad. But it wasn't until 2012 when Nick would eventually reach out to Jeff Tremaine, which I'm pretty sure is the producer of Jackass. They would finally sit down and talk about making this sketch comedy show Loiter Squad and making it a 15-minute production on Adult Swim. And although all of this had been in the works for about 2 years, Loiter Squad's official debut wouldn't be until March 25th, 2012. In an interview with Spin in March 2nd, 2012, Lionel, Taco, and Jasper would sit down and talk about their experience on Loiter Squad. Lionel was asked, "Are you doing what you always wanted?" and said, Well, I really wanted to produce film and TV shows like the show we have. Me, Tyler, Jasper, Taco are the four main producers on Loiter Squad. They hired some writers to bounce around ideas, but it's mainly us four just coming up with the biggest chunk of everything. I want to branch off into movies and stuff too, writing, producing, and acting.
Loiter Squad came from us just being us because we loiter a lot and shit. Like we just be kicking it, and we ended up saying,
You know how black people after they eat, they just sit around and don't do shit?
yeah. And we get kicked out of places for loitering. We wrote everything pretty much.
Me, Jasper, Tyler, and Taco, we're the four producers of the show, so like we come up with the skits and everything, and we did all of it ourselves.
I'm 17 and I'm producing.
So Lionel has actually been around since the creation of Odd Future. Apparently Lionel and Tyler met in high school. In a First We Feast interview with Sean Evans, Lionel would sit down and talk about what his relationship with Tyler was like back then.
Senior year of high school, meeting Tyler is when I realized, oh, okay, there's like some sort of like creative side to this, because we were in drama class together and we would like write sketches and do these things, and he was really responding to what I was doing. He was like, yeah, this is cool, we should do this. Like, and he would just dream like, you know, if we ever did a show or something, man, I would do it with you. And you're just like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude.
So Loiter Squad would become like a 2010s cult classic, and even though it was produced by the same guys that did Jackass, the OF dudes did not try to like do anything that would exceed their physical limits or anything extreme like that, right? Like half of the show was like pranks and the other half was sketch comedy, character bits, shit like that. But it was fucking funny as hell, bro.
Show us your slave face. Okay, maybe a little less cold.
Even if you go back and watch some of these skits, like you see the scared straight one.
What y'all little bitch ass in here for?
I was caught sucking my dad's.
I was sucking my daddy when I was 7 years old. A field of them.
They even had celebrities feature on the show, like Blake Anderson from Workaholics. Apparently him and Taco were like homies. I'm gonna get into that. Mac Miller, Tony Hawk, Juicy J, Kanye. There was just hella. This show was crazy, bro. This show was crazy. They just had hella people on this bitch. Around the same time, other members of Odd Future continued to drop projects. 12 Odd Future songs released on October 3rd, 2011, and it was just 13 previously released Odd Future songs. Mike G dropped the Award Tour EP, which had a couple gems on there, but it also featured a young Vince Staples. The Internet dropped their debut studio album Purple Naked Ladies on December 20th, 2011, but this was before Steve Lacy and Jameel Brunner had joined the group, and it consisted of Matt Martians, Sid the Kid, Christopher Smith, and Patrick Page. At that period in time, Frank Ocean and the Internet were like the yin and yang to Odd Future. But I thought it was a great album for the Internet, like where they started from, just to build their foundation, like finding their identity as a band. I thought this was a great start. This would also be the last album to drop from Odd Future's label in 2011.
I like what we have, but I want to try something new real quick.
Okay.
We'll start there and just go over that. So, there you go.
On February 24, 2012, Haji would kick off this year by releasing his debut mixtape, Untitled. Unlike other Odd Future tapes or even other solo projects by the guys, nobody from Odd Future would feature on this tape. This tape was actually the lead up to the Odd Future tape Volume 2, which would be released on March 20th, 2012. This would be the group's last collaborative album, which I just think is really, really fucking sad, but you know what I mean, like shit changes, right?
Nigga. Oh, the album is in the building. Hey, T.U. I got albums, nigga. I got albums, my nigga. I got albums, nigga. $8, my nigga. Albums, nigga.
The tape would actually get amazing reviews, and it hit number 5 on Billboard. And of course, you know, we get into the track list, and it's just bangers. Analog, White, fucking Bitches, 50. Bro, Forest Green, and of course, Oldie. And nigga, come on, bro. You throw out Oldie, come on for the one time. Bro, this was an era.
We're in a supercar for a day. Drive around with your friends, smoking gun of that haze.
I remember first watching this music video and thinking, what is this masterpiece that I stumbled upon? It was just so impromptu. It was just so like free flowing and natural, like nothing was forced. And the story behind this shit, For starters, Earl had just come back from his little vacation. That's what we'll call it. And the group was entirely together. And I don't just mean like a couple niggas here and there. No, it was just everybody was there. Lucas Versetti, Nakel, Tyler, Jasper. Everybody was there. Frank was there. Everybody you could think of. Lego was there. Everybody you could think of. Your most obscure Odd Future member that you're like, oh fuck, I remember this. He was there. He was there, bro. I was there. We were there. In an interview with The Ringer, Odd Future members would talk about how the idea of Oldie came about. Apparently, there was even some behind-the-scenes drama as Tyler would get into it with XXL's editor-in-chief. Apparently, they were having some creative differences, and the shoot that they were having wasn't going as any of the group members had envisioned it. Tyler would say, I was like, nah, fuck that. That shit is weak. That's when I wasn't a dick, but I was super vocal about things. I was like, either we're all on it or not. Okay, fuck it, we'll do this. We couldn't figure it out. We kept getting into it with Vanessa, but it's all good. Now we just shot with her 10 years later. Damo would also talk about the situation, saying that somebody plugged their iPhone into a speaker and started playing Oldie. Damo said, someone puts the song on and just spur of the moment, everybody starts rapping their verse, like from top to bottom, just performing to the camera, literally just for fun. Tyler and Damo would both comment on the situation, saying XXL and specifically the photographer trying to shoot them, this guy named Terry Richardson, were being super weird. Tyler would say, they were being very weird with the footage that Lance was shooting. They were like, stop shooting. And at the beginning of the video, you can hear me saying, no, fuck that. Lance, keep shooting this shit. The guy who shot Oldie, his name was Lance Banks, and he was Odd Future's unofficial cameraman in 2012. In March of 2012, Lance was following Odd Future while they were doing their 17-date tour of Canada, the UK, and the US.
We're Philadelphia, where the Eagles play, and we're about to open a fucking store. Yeah. You niggas ready? Yeah!
Like I said before, every member was there, which gives me the opportunity to touch on people that I just haven't talked about yet, including Lucas Versetti. For starters, Lucas is the face of Odd Future Tape Volume 2, right? Tyler would call him the token white boy, and as we know about Tyler, he love a couple white boys though. Just like Lionel and everybody else, he had been there since the beginning. Apparently, according to Reddit forums, I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but according to Reddit forums, Tyler had actually used Lucas's class photo as the cover for Bastard. Lucas is known for being the merch tour manager, as you can see in like numerous YouTube videos that Odd Future has posted.
We've been here since Black Friday, so it's been like almost a month. If you want hoodies, we got more hoodies. We got some fucking windbreakers. We got like some t-shirts and shit.
This my nigga Lucas for life, my nigga. Anybody got a motherfucking problem, nigga?
Apparently, after the group disbanded, he would then go on to manage the Supreme store. What's fucking hilarious is Tyler introduces another Odd Future member in this video, Eddie Legohead, the Odd Future photographer from like 2010 to 2015, and he also ended up taking this picture of Tyler with Kanye and Jay-Z.
Eddie, also known as Lego. He took one of the greatest photos in the history of photos.
Jay-Z, Kanye West, This Faggot, Justin Bieber, Kid Cudi, and Aziz.
It's some white bitch.
Oh, and some white bitch. And it got like 35,000 notes. What's Gucci, nigga?
Bitch.
As we all know, Odd Future is not merely a musical group, right? It's a collective of actors, skaters, photographers, singers, rappers. Everybody's in that bitch. Nakel Smith is not an exception to the rule. As a pro skateboarder, this man was running shit behind we really don't hear people talk about him like that, but he was low-key running shit behind the scenes, bro. He's tough. Originally a skater in Odd Future, in an interview with Hypebeast, Nakel would talk about how he originally met all the guys in Odd Future while skating at Fairfax.
So when I started coming around Fairfax and, you know, starting going to Supreme, and not only am I like seeing pro skaters, you know, this is where I met Tyler and most of the people that's still like my like main friends today. Like everybody had a true like drive for something different. So seeing other people with that drive, I don't know, I guess it just made me work harder.
What did I tell you niggas about Fairfax, man? What did I tell you niggas about? I'm telling you, bro, you take Fairfax out the map, These niggas is not meeting, bro. Bro, Fairfax is too pivotal to the story. It's actually not. I'm about to go Fairfax right now. Who the fuck is on Fairfax? The significance behind Fairfax is not just a meeting point at this point. Actually, this would be the first place that there would be a Camp Flog Gnaw concert held. Flog Gnaw was originally held in the parking lot of the Nokia Theater in 2012. It was a much smaller one-day event with about 7 acts. So you look at where it started till now, and it obviously the venue, the concert, the attendance, everything grew along with Odd Future's career, along with Tyler's career, really. Now Flog Gnaw is much more than just a one-day write-off event, right? Like, this is a 40-act event, thousands of people attending, like thousands of people there. It's also the only place where Drake got booed off stage, so there.
I will keep going tonight. What's up? If you want to keep going, I will keep going tonight. Well, look. It's been love. I love y'all. I go by the name of Drake. Thank you for having me.
There's that. So the last guy I really want to highlight is Sagan Lockhart. Apparently Sagan during 09, like 2010 era, he was working in the fashion district on Fairfax. Specifically, he was working at Diamond, and that's where he met Odd Future. In an interview with Up Rocks magazine, Sagan would say, "I started taking photos probably around 09, 2010. That's when I was working on Fairfax and all the Odd Future stuff was going on, so I kind of just learned how to take photos with them as a first test subject." Sagan would continue saying, "My first gig over there before I was at Diamond and met the Odd Future guys, I was working down at the Hundreds. Dom Kennedy was hanging out every single day, Nas would come in, Nipsey Hussle would kick it all the time. There were just all these characters that I was lucky enough to be around and just talk with. It was super natural, so that when I got a camera, I was just shooting anything that was around me."
My name's Sagan Lockhart, having a gallery at Space Shown to Scale. A little photo thing with Tyler and Earl to coincide with their show that they got going on tomorrow night.
That was cool. Like, I didn't even know Sagan had it going on like that. I remember we did, like, he just asked us to come to the park one day and we just did normal shit. I didn't know it was for a photo shoot. But Sagan got paid off that. That was tight.
This is also the year that Damo Genesis and The Alchemist would link up and drop No Idols. Boy, this is the most underrated tape on Odd Futures. Like, in their catalog, one of the most underrated tapes. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This is fucking real. This is real raps right here, nigga. God, I feel like Flex. I feel like Funk Flex. The features on here are insane too. We got SGP, Freddie Gibbs, Vince is on here, nigga. Fucking Action Bronson, Earl. While I've been, researching for this video, I've been going through old songs and everything. Elimination Chamber, fucking ridiculous. I forgot how good that song was. Another song that I feel like really amped up Damo's career at this time, and it apparently was a long time dream for him to work with this guy, was Ground Up by Wiz. They released that on February 9th, 2012. This was low-key Damo's year. This was low-key Damo, Tyler, like, it was just a good year all around for everybody there, because come on, man, like, this was fucking ridiculous. Mellow Hype would also drop Numbers on October 9th of 2012. They had Frank on there, man. They had Earl on there. This was great. The production on here, I really like the more like boom bap-ish style that Left Brain has on here. And as always, Haji has such a unique cadence. His ability to like capture you in the first few seconds of a song, like, I think people really underestimate that. And on July 10th of 2012, Frank Ocean would release his debut studio album, Channel Orange. Man, I don't need to say anything. I really don't. Y'all know. Come on, 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20. I don't want to slurp his shit. If I have to, I will, Mr. Ocean. Super Rich Kids. Come on, Pyramids. Come, Forrest Gump. I don't need to say much. You niggas know. Next.
Like, I tried to just make something that was, true to what I heard in my head and true to what I thought the future should be for me, music-wise. So that was what I did, man.
Frank would be nominated for 6 Grammys for this album and then take home the Grammy for Best Urban Contemporary Album. 2013 was also an insanely packed year. Mike G would drop Yellow Diamonds.
Who the quiet motherfucker? The wide cleft John looking motherfucker.
Mike G. Mike, I think
that Mike G. Now I gotta.
Tyler would drop his second studio album, Wolf, on April 2nd, 2013. This album would peak on number 3 on Billboard, and it would take a bit of a different turn, at least content-wise, from his stuff on Goblin and Bastard. This is also the album where we would see the first features from Lucas Versetti and Nakel Smith on the song Trash Wang. Tyler would also snag some features from the legendary producer Pharrell and the neo-soul goddess herself, Erykah Badu. Tyler would even call out Earl's mom on a song, just hinting at their little feud or dislike for each other.
Look at that mom who thinks I'm evil, hold that grudge against me, though I'm the reason that her motherfucking son got to eat.
And the reason I said that it takes a bit of a turn, at least content-wise, is because of the song Answer. At least for me, we get this vulnerability from Tyler that we kind of see on the other songs, but it's masked in anger. And in this song, maybe it's the production, I don't know, but you get this overwhelming feeling of like sadness when you listen to it. It's such a beautifully produced beat, and honestly I think Wolf is the turning point, and just sonically for Tyler. I think a lot of people would say Cherry Bomb. I think he was using that as an opportunity to try new things out and explore himself, but I think Wolf is the transition point. Wolf, right, it's the, oh, I'm gonna do some other shit. I'm not on what you niggas are on. I'm doing different shit. Respect it. Nigga went on to be goated. Regardless, I'm not here to do a full review of Wolf, though. I'm just passionate about that album. Like I said, 2013 was a big year for Future musically. The Jet Age of Tomorrow would release The Jellyfish Mentality on May 24, 2013. This tape would feature Earl, Mike G, fucking Mac Miller, Vince Staples, which are like kind of like affiliates Odd Future. They're not in it, but you know what I mean. They've been around for forever. So I want to talk about Odd Future's influence for a second when I say this. This tape was doing something that no other rap groups were doing at that time. It had this heavily psychedelic feel to it. It just felt so unique. On September 24, 2013, the internet would release Feel Good. It should make you feel good. Honestly, this tape was a great way for the internet to showcase like them finding their identity as a band, but also songs like Don't Ya kind of showed Sid's evolution as a vocalist.
We're very fortunate to have a low stress environment in our band where we kind of just get each other. It really is a brotherhood. A lot of bands come together for the shows and rehearsal and that's it, but like with our band, I understand that unity and being together and friendship like leads to better music.
Why are there so many fucking like legends in Odd Future? There's no reason for you to have like 8 Grammy nominated niggas in one group. Haji's Untitled 2 EP released June 1st, 2013 as a 7-song EP. It was another Haji classic. No features except for Left Brain. Otherwise, it was straight bars and melodies. And he did his thing. Songs like Alone allow Haji to drop his guard and talk about his experience being a father and what that means to him. While songs like Karate Man bring back that I don't give a fuck attitude. Overall, fans either loved this album or absolutely hated it. This next subgroup actually formed in 2011, but they had never released a full project. Mellow High, which consisted of Left Brain, Haji, and my boy Damo. They would officially release their first self-titled album on October 31st, 2013. Boy, get the fuck out of here, nigga. This shit was peak. The album would feature Earl, Tyler, and Currency and would generally get good reviews, and it was absolutely beloved by fans. Cold World and Mellow High being some of my personal favorite songs off of it. The last album to come out in 2013, Doris. A sweaty, sticky, sweaty, fucking, dirty ass fucking bastard Earl Sweatshirt, man. Come on, bruh. Nigga, when I tell you this album changed my life, I listened to this album today. Like, I listened to Hive today. This, I think for anybody who was a kind of like edgy, depressive, cynical, pessimistic little fuck back in the day when you were like 14, 15, like this was the album. You needed this. Bro, I remember listening to Chum. Nigga, I was in a dark room, covers over my head and shit. Something sinister to it. Pendulum slinging slow. degenerate moving. The album would released on August 20th, 2013. I already told you how I feel about it personally. Doris received critical acclaim, man. I mean, it debuted at number 5 on Billboard, and not only was it beloved by fans, but it was beloved by critics. Bro, you turn on Hive around niggas, watch out for your grandmother. No joke. Grammys, hide them. It's like that. Overall, this tape, this album, I think this solidified, if they weren't already, right? Because Tyler has his own critical acclaim. Frank has his own critical acclaim. We have a third member of the same group reaching almost, if not the same level of critical acclaim as the other two standouts in the group. That's fucking ridiculous. That never happens in any group. We're not even done. We're not done. Niggas think it's done. We're not done. We're getting started. In my opinion, by 2014, Odd Future had already been solidified as one of the greatest hip-hop collectives of all time. Like I said, 3 niggas top of Billboard. I held up 6. 3 niggas top of Billboard. No one does that. Look through your history, people. No one does that. You might get 1 standout star of the group, 2 tops. No one has 3. Nobody has. I did it again. Nobody has 3. But I did it again because we're not done, nigga. We're not done, nigga. But yes, by 2014, I think, in my opinion, they had already solidified. And this is not new age bias. This is a different level of talent that came from this group. Nuke Fairfax. In their prime, Odd Future would never stop making waves. In March of 2014, The Guardian would report that Ty the Creator was arrested over claims that he incited a riot at the South by Southwest festival. The rapper was released on bond that same day, flying to Dallas to play a sold-out concert.
Their arrest warrant for Tyler Okanma, known as also Tyler the Creator, says he was performing Thursday at the Scoot Inn on East 4th. Detectives for Code Ordnance say the venue was at its 999-person capacity when the rapper yelled for folks to bust through the gates.
In an interview with the Huffington Post Live, Tyler would talk about the incident.
The South by Southwest incident. Something a little more serious than a dog that you hate. But what happened there?
Man, I was having a regular show. A bunch of kids came in. No one got hurt. Like, no one got hurt. Everyone, I made sure everyone was chill. We good. Everyone in. Everyone safe. Yeah. Okay, cool. We finished the show. Everyone had a great time. I go to the airport 2 days later, and cops show up like, hey, come here, and put me in handcuffs. And I'm like oblivious to, like why am I?
But his arrest at South by Southwest would also lead to one of the first major consequences the group would face due to their actions, but also due to their words. Immigration authorities there had barred the group from entering the country, saying that they had been deemed a potential threat to the public order. 6 performers of the group were actually set to open for Eminem while he was on tour there later this month. Immigration for New Zealand would say in a statement, Odd Future has been deemed a potential threat to the public order and the public interest for several reasons, including incidents at past performances in which they have incited violence. What's insane is that New Zealand is not the only country to ban Ty the Creator or Odd Future.
What was it? You got banned from England or
Yeah,
something?
it was Australia. It was the whole UK. It was New Zealand. And it was like, bro, I was here 3 weeks ago.
They say you accused of starting violence or something?
And it's like, yeah, but I'm not on that no more. So what's your end goal?
In 2015, an Australian feminist group called Collective Shout cited lyrics from his mixtape Bastard, as well as his song Tron Cat from Goblin. Tyler actually had to curtail a tour they had planned in September because Collective Shout ended up slowing down his ability to enter the country by slowing down the approval of his visa. What made the situation reflect a bit worse on Tyler is that feminist protesters were outside of one of his shows, harassing his fans, mind you. They ended up coming into the event, and that is when Tyler is seen out of context cursing these protesters out.
I wish you hear me call her a bitch too, you fucking whore. How does it feel? I got a sold out show right now, you bitch.
We played there in 2013, and they have a video of me like on stage going off on one of the feminist protester ladies. They filmed me doing that, but what people don't know is that they was outside harassing fans and making a ruckus, and inside to purposely come to the show making a ruckus with a couple of the male fans just so I could get the word back and be like, what the fuck is she doing? Fuck her. Why was she there in the first place? If I'm such a bad guy, do deers hang around fucking lions?
You would think that this shit would end there. Funny enough, this nigga would get banned from another country. This nigga got banned from like every country. In a report from The Guardian in 2015, they would talk about how Tyler would be banned from the UK due to his old lyrics. Guardian would report that Tyler the Creator was turned away at the border and that he had been banned by the Home Secretary Theresa May from entering Britain for the next 3 to 5 years. That is insane, bro. In a letter from the Home Office that Tyler was given, it states, "The Home Secretary has reached this decision because you have brought yourself within the scope of the list of unacceptable behavior by making statements that may foster hatred, which might lead to inter-community violence in the UK. Your albums Bastard in 2009 and Goblin in 2011 are based on the premise of your adapting a mentally unstable alter ego who describes violent physical abuse, rape, and murder in graphic terms, which appears to be glamorized behavior." Tyler would reply to the situation saying, "The thing that irks me about it is the paper saying I am denied entry to the UK clearly states that these songs were written from an alter ego, which means that they obviously did some research on these songs that they're detaining me for." A few projects would be released in 2014, with Pyramid Vitra dropping his album Palace and PV2 on November 11th, and Mellow Hype would drop Insa on July 4th, 2014. I love the production on here, but Haji's flow is on point on almost every track, man. You got Nowadays, you got The Days with Sid, like, there's bangers on here. Damo Genesis would also drop Under the Influence 2 on November 6th. This album got great reviews and fans were excited to see Damo hungry on these tracks. He's slowly been stepping up his game with Elimination Chamber and his feature on Rusty, but this tape really brought that to the forefront. Damo in an interview would say that he wanted to make a traditional mixtape on some Lil Wayne shit. Sadly though, 2014 would be the start of those rumors that Odd Future was growing apart, man. We all remember that. But yeah, Tyler in an interview would talk about how he wasn't as close to everybody as he used to be. Yeah, that's my nigga Tyler would say. "We just aren't as close as we were. It's kind of weird. I'm aware and smart enough to know, okay, shit changes." Tyler confirms that the duo hasn't worked on music together since the song Sasquatch in 2013. Damo in a XXL interview in 2014 would talk about the Odd Future dynamic. "It's not like we're not close, we're all brothers. I see them every day. We used to drive around all together and do crazy shit in the city. We all are becoming older. We're all just trying to figure out who we are as men individually, not as a group. We know who we are as a group. Everybody is just trying to find themselves." So at that point, pre-2015, you really couldn't point to any issues specifically happening within the group. I mean, they would talk about how they would grow apart, but that's just natural friend group type shit. Things aren't always gonna stay the same. Eventually you guys are gonna grow apart at some points, but you're still homies with these people. You don't hate them or anything. So there was never any real beef between Tyler and Earl. The only thing that you could really point to that would be like, well, this is kind of odd, but not really, would be Earl signing with Columbia as opposed to signing with Odd Future Records the way that everybody else did. So that's probably the only thing, not signing with that whole Odd Future label, but really that doesn't pinpoint to any issue. And there were no issues. Pre-2015, there weren't really any issues that we had seen publicly. In any case, 2015 was quite the fucking year for members of the group, at least individually, musically. Mike G would actually kick it off with Award Tour 2, and he would have production from some of the Odd Future members on there, Tyler, Left Brain. He even had Mac Miller do the beat for the song James Bond on there. 5 years after the release of the first Denna tape, Haji released the Denna Tape 2 on February 2nd, 2015. The tape was a mix of new songs and freestyles over popular instrumentals, like Kendrick's Sing About Me and Outkast's Equanimity. It also featured Damo on Haji X Doms and New Balance, and Hit Boy on If I Say So. I was going through old Odd Future chat rooms and Reddit threads, and I'll be honest, people were dead split on this tape. Half of the fans saying the album was complete doo-doo, and the other half saying that they loved the project. Then on March 23rd, 2015, Earl would release an album fueled off nihilism. I don't like shit, I don't go outside. And even if it wasn't respected by the mainstream, I think that this album meant a lot to people in terms of vulnerability and in terms of dealing with mental illness, especially in such an outright fashion, because that's really what this was about, right? Like he was delving really deep into like this darkness and depression that he had going on. And this album had features from Dash, Vince Staples, and Nakel Smith, who he actually formed the group Hog Slaughter Boys with. The two hadn't released any official projects, but on January 4, 2015, Earl would tweet out a link to a song called Silence the Rap Game by the Hog Slaughter Boys, which was him and featuring Nakel. And man, it's alright, man. It's alright. In a review of the album on The Medium, a journalist will report that Earl recorded "I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside" while isolated. He had seriously injured himself while skating, requiring knee surgery. Stuck at home, he faced a myriad of issues, such as a breakup with his girlfriend, depression, and various substance abuse issues. In an NPR interview, Earl would say, "This is the first thing that I've said that I fully stand behind, like the good and the bad of it," referring to the album. "I've never been this transparent with myself or with music. I've never been behind myself this much." On May 17th, Earl would actually take to Twitter to rant about his label fucking up his rollout. Apparently, they hadn't released the music video he had originally planned to drop with the album. In an interview with NPR, he'd addressed the situation. Aside from this incident, this album is highly regarded as one of Earl's best complete bodies of work. During this time, it was painfully obvious that Earl and Tyler were on the opposite side of the spectrum, at least musically. While Tyler would release projects like Cherry Bomb, an album with a light-hearted and poppy feel to it, Earl would release I Don't Like Shit, a transparent and vulnerable display of his struggles with mental health. And it's amazing to see where they came from and where they are at now.
I'm sneaky like a snake. You spit like a lake.
Tyler Creator's Cherry Bomb album was undeniably poorly received. When it first came out, critics said that the album sounded panicked and scattered, and fans just didn't understand the vision that Tyler was going for. But to Tyler, Cherry Bomb is one of his most treasured works of art.
Damn, my life's gonna change when this album comes out. I can feel it. It's weird. I can like feel this. This is the one. It's sick. I'm happy it took this song. Like, I'm happy it wasn't on the other ones. Like, I'm ready now. Who the fuck am I talking to right now?
The album would release on April 13th, 2015, and would debut at number 4 on Billboard. One thing the album is heavily revered for is its production, and a lot of fans feel like this album was the stepping stone that Tyler needed to take to achieve what he did on Flower Boy. I will say this nigga's features on this album were amazing. This nigga had Weezy, Kanye, Pharrell, Roy Ayers, Kali Uchis. Come on, bro. Like, what? Something I found that was really interesting while researching for this video is that Illegal Civ Cinema would release a documentary that would chronicle the behind-the-scenes recording process that, Tyler was involved in while creating Cherry Bomb. Here we can see Tyler experimenting with a string section for the first time for the song Find Your Wings. And you can see how enveloped he is in the artistry behind the music and how much this creative process impacted him as an artist.
This is Hans Zimmer. If you're not familiar with his work, he scored a bunch of movies like Spider-Man and Despicable Me and, oh yeah, Inception. So it's 8 p.m. I'm about to record at Hans Zimmer studio. I'm a little nervous because this is my first time with an actual string section.
About a month after the release of Cherry Bomb, Tyler would tweet out, "Although it's no more, those 7 letters are forever." And it would shake the whole hip-hop community, man, because it was confirmation of what we all kind of knew, but we didn't want to say out loud. Odd Future was officially dead. What's crazy is Earl the next day, in a reply to Tyler talking about like the official end of Odd Future, he would say, "No sympathy for male virgins who are in their feelings about Tyler pointing out and solidifying the obvious." Basically, Buddy ended every Odd Future fan's dream of an Earl Wolf album dropping. That shit is never coming out, bro. That shit's just they're never releasing that bullshit. In a reply to this tweet, Tyler would say, "All I was trying to do is look at old photos with friends and think about how time flies. Crazy how one tweet can stir so much." Still, there was never any hint of beef between the two. It was just that OF was kind of over now, but an underlying tension had been brewing with some of the members in OF for quite some time, and I don't mean in a beef sense, at least not for all of them. Frank Ocean had never officially left the group, but he did start to distance himself in 2014 when he never signed with Odd Future's label, similar to Earl, and he also did not sign with Christian Clancy of Four Strikes, which is Ty the Creator's manager. In an interview with The Fader in 2014, Tyler would talk about the situation, saying he's a different case, he could care less about the spotlight type shit, which is cool. Sid the Kid was another one of the members to leave the group post blow up in 2015. In an interview with the New York Times, Sid would talk about her experience in breaking the news to the group. One morning while Odd Future was on tour, Bennett broke the news that she was leaving. She says it was not well received. It felt like a divorce, like a family, however dysfunctional, falling apart. Sid would say, "They weren't happy about it. I was their get out of jail free card. It's easy to say they aren't homophobic because Sid is there." Sid would actually end up receiving heavy backlash from the LGBTQ community over her association with Odd Future, after they were just like, they're just known to use, you know what I mean, like F slurs and everything like that. In the same interview with the Times, Sid would talk about that situation as well, saying, "The gay community hated me for being a part of Odd Future. They thought Odd Future was homophobic because they tend to use homophobic slang. And they were like, how can you work for and support homophobes? But they aren't homophobic. They just don't really care whether you're offended or not."
I don't care. I don't care. What'd you say? I just want to know what you said. What did you say? I don't care.
And at least in Sid's case, as with a couple other guys, I think that leaving the group was definitely for her benefit. I mean, she had a lot going for her with the internet and her solo career, and I think that that move right then and there was kind of like solidifying, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go outside of this group and I'm gonna find my own identity now, which leads us into the Camp Flog Gnaw situation. In November 14th of 2015, Odd Future would host its annual Camp Flog Gnaw festival, and the entire group was scheduled to perform. And what I mean by the group, I mean Haji, Damo, Taco, Left Brain, Jasper, like Tyler, obviously, like that core group.
Insanity kills, we all suffer from insanity still. And if I said it, then it is, or it's gonna be real. I'll ref till I OD, and I probably will.
So from what I can tell, after delving deep into the depths of the Odd Future lore, because at the time that this was going on, I really was not like, I honestly don't even remember this happening. But apparently at the festival, Haji went on a rant during his set where he would call out Tyler and just talk about how unhappy he was and talk about kind of behind the scenes of the Odd Future group and what was really going on.
Being famous is overrated. Being famous is overrated. Being famous isn't normal. It do weird shit to people. Being famous ain't shit. So don't worship no motherfucker that's gonna stand up on a motherfucking stage and tell you some shit that ain't real.
People would actually at Tyler on Twitter after the performance because Haji was that out of pocket. And at the end of the entire Camp Flog Gnaw set, Tyler would come out on stage for his own performance and go on his own little tirade and rant about how niggas was not appreciating him for the person that he was and the position that he put people in.
Niggas got me fucked up. I put too many niggas on. I helped too many of my motherfucking friends out. And niggas gonna come foul? And you know who the fuck I'm talking about, nigga. And yes, it's getting real. I love you though.
basically, you know, throwing shots back at Haji, which leads us to think that there was a little bit more here than maybe you originally thought. Maybe you just thought Haji's just upset about some bullshit, but I don't know. I guess we'll never know. A witness to the event said at first his raw freestyles and off-script asides came off as refreshing, but he lost all goodwill when he started berating the stage manager for simply doing his job, actually threatening to kick his ass when he got off stage. The incident wasn't funny, though it was ironic. Haji had just finished a rant about how fame changes people for the worse. His own little temper tantrum served as Exhibit A, whether he knew it or not. The next day, Haji would take to Twitter and Instagram, calling out Tyler in indirect and direct shots. I'm just gonna read out some of Haji's tweets. I feel good because I stood up for the ones who are too afraid to say it, but they feel that way. Position of power. If it wasn't for OF, where would Tyler be? Yo, this guy. Yo, Haji was on a rampage back in the day, bruh. In an Instagram post, he'd say, niggas treat us like we're disposable. Haji, Doms, left, Mike G. Where Earl go? I know he had no part in the carnival. Real recognize real. Gone. Why he sign off like that? In another post, he would say, this is a business. Remember that all you see is only brought to your eyes. I know everything that goes on in the background, and I respect him enough, and I'm sure him is Tyler. I respect him enough not to blast that. Just know a young nigga changing faces. As far as publicly, Tyler never addressed Haji directly, but he would make the tweet, Tebe and I are fine by the way, which is in reference to him and Earl's relationship that Haji tried to throw a little bit of dirt on by saying that Earl didn't show up to the event. Tyler also responded to a follower on Twitter saying, I don't know, shit bummed me out, I don't know what the fuck I did. The fan reactions to this incident did seem a bit mixed, but the majority seemed to take Tyler's side. They all had the same kind of reaction that Haji should basically be grateful for Tyler because he put him on and put him in the position that he's in today. One of the fans saying, I won't deny that Haji's made some cool music, but he literally owes any shred of relevancy he has to Tyler. He shouldn't get any delusions about his place in the game. Fucking insane to say that. And another one said, I'm not really feeling that sympathetic towards Haji here. He can claim that he was on the ground floor for OF, but he owes almost his entire career to Tyler. It's not looking good for my boy Jerry, man. What it got Jerry like this, man? What it do to Jerry, man? But honestly, within 2 to 3 days, the entire situation was cleared up. Tyler and Haji were then seen on posted clips on Instagram where the two were joking around and hanging out.
Tyler told me to stop being a bitch. So I said, all right.
And I could do this.
And I could do this. Wait.
Oh, fuck.
One fan would even talk about the incident saying, about a day later, Haji shared a video of him and Tyler joking around, hitting handstands. There it is, beef over. Niggas is kind of in the detective mode right now. I kept feeling like CoffeeZilla, nigga.
Beef with Tyler. I more so had beef with myself. And I just projected it. So I never actually had a real problem with T. Like, just I don't even know what I'm saying, but that's just for like, it's just on record. Like, I've never had a problem with really anyone.
The duo had gone from having this wild performance on Jimmy Fallon in 2011 to having this kind of public falling out, get back together, fall out again-ish situation. And it would leave fans wondering about the entire dynamic behind the scenes and whether or not other members in the group may have their own issues with one another. And maybe that's why there's so much distance.
When we meet and we see each other, you know, it's always love. But everybody has different schedules, so it's hard to, like, it's rare you catch us all in a room at the same time.
But in hindsight, there are no real issues to speak of. And although Odd Future will never be what it was, this wildfire of influence that they had spread over the entire culture. And they'll forever live on through that.
Down in Muscle Beach, pumping iron and bone.
Bumping ODs off a cellular phone.
This is the group that shit out legend after legend. they fucking revitalized kids throughout the world. And while they were doing it, they'd probably call you a fucking F slur and shit on your mom. So it was fucking peak.
Hi, this is fucking Ladera, guys. And we can't fucking figure out a fucking intro because these faggot ass niggas can't think of nothing fucking cool.
I had a fucking intro.